we are. I'm Tom Osman, and this is Whatever Comes Next, the podcast where I explore the world of underground and independent music making. And on today's episode, I am talking with Stefania and Bruno, who are Italian avant-garde industrial electronic noise rock duo OvO, who have just recently put out I think it's their 11th studio album, Gemma, on Artoffact Records. And the music of OvO goes back, I think, 25 years. If I remember correctly from the interview, they're actually just about to be playing on the 25th anniversary of their first show. So, as well as the fact that I think the new album's great, and I wanted to talk to them because of that, I also thought it'd be really interesting to get the insights that the duo has from their 25 years of playing together. So, yeah, I was very interested to get their insights about playing live over all of these years, about their experiences of playing in squats and living in squats as well. And yeah, how they make a living out of playing this very unusual and non-mainstream music, as well as talking about magic and ritual and a lot of interesting topics. OvO are currently, well, they're just at the moment, I think when we did the interview, they were just in between shows, but they have got a bunch of different shows coming up. I forget if there's anything right at the end of November. There might even be something tomorrow, in fact. Yes, they're playing tonight, they're playing tomorrow, and they're going to be playing through December as well. And you can get information of all the various shows on Bandcamp. You can follow OvO, they are OvO Channel on Instagram. You can follow me on all social media at Tom Osman Sound. You can go to my website, tomosmansounds.com, to check out my music. You can go to patreon.com/whatever comes next for some extended interviews and other goodies. And I'm probably forgetting something, but that'll do. So, without further ado, Stefania and Bruno of OvO, take it away. Hi, Tom. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Stefania.
Bruno.
Pleasure. You, I guess, are somewhere in Italy right now.
No, we're in Brussels.
Ah, because you're in the middle of touring.
No, I live in Brussels.
Oh.
And while she lives in Italy.
Right. But you are kind of, maybe you don't count it as a tour. Like you have a lot of different live dates at the moment. Are you going home between, or are you kind of...
No, we're leaving tomorrow for a 3 weeks tour.
Ah, okay.
And then, and then we have spare gigs as well. And you know, sometimes we stay in Brussels, sometimes we stay in Italy, sometimes we split.
Okay. And how, are you from Brussels originally?
No, we're Italians.
Oh, you're both Italians. Okay.
Yeah. I live in Brussels just because of my wife. Ah,
okay. Yeah, I have a little bit of history with Italy. Just I've been there a few times, but not a lot. So I also think every time I interview artists or bands that are not from English-speaking countries, I always look at names of like albums and songs. I think I'm going to pronounce everything incorrectly.
Oh, don't worry. I do the same in English.
Exactly.
So.
Wait until you hear in English.
Exactly. Particularly mine. So.
One thing I wanted to ask you, just on the topic of Italy, do you ever think about how being Italian comes out in your music?
Yeah, interesting.
Yes. It's both... there's something about the artistic part, the musical part that definitely... okay, coming from a small scene, okay, of course, under market point of view, it's a disaster. Because we count nothing, like Italy counts nothing in the music business. But being in a small scene, I think that opens minds a little bit because you're forced to mix. I mean, there's not going to be like a specific club that books a specific genre, this a specific audience that only follows like, I don't know, like Eastern sludge, or the so everything is more mixed, and I think it opens. I mean, the audience is more open to different things, and even the music is more mixed. We look for, we end up looking for originality more than to fit in a specific market or a specific scene that doesn't actually exist in the country. Yeah. So I notice it a lot when we tour like countries like Germany or in the Netherlands, where very specific scenes are very well developed, and people actually look for their own very specific style, and they don't go out of it very much. So that's something that maybe influenced us about being Italian.
Yeah,
I don't know I don't know if the melody, the melody of Italian music. I don't think they influenced us very much.
Maybe the esoteric part of Italy.
True.
The effect a little bit like Italy still have a weird history. Also, being a country that is so complicated, cultural, and also with a lot of contrast inside. So for culture or politically stuff, it somehow affect our music, or be more sometimes put a fight. I don't know if it's a good way to say, but the fight attitude into the music. So it's in the style of music, also in the style of how we approach the music. That's maybe more my part, but really this fighting attitude, somehow coming in a country that is complicated. We don't have support from the States because we are artists, or this other situation that happen in other country. Help. We can say help to, if you want something, you work on to do it, and you do maybe for fun, but also with a very strong idea.
Yeah, we're used to struggle.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, the esoteric part is actually interesting, because lately we found out that even our parents and grandparents, they were somehow. I mean, and also some friends' parents. We ended up knowing that even just the generation before us was actually a little bit involved in some sort of little towns, magic, nothing like, again, not like the big thing, just the small healing woman in town. Like, even my father was a tarot reader, and was like, father, dad, the tarot reader. I just knew it from my sisters, and I had no idea my father was a tarot reader. I never. Yeah. But actually, and then it came to my mind when I was very, very little. I actually have an image of my father reading cards, and I'm like, my father, okay. So yeah, there are even in the close generations, there are lots of little magic touches.
Yeah, I'm really interested that you bring up that magical aspect, because one of the things that I thought, and one thing to say early on as well, I think the forthcoming album, Gemma, is great. I love it.
Thank you.
It's dark and mysterious, and sometimes, like at the very beginning of the album, there's this kind of seductive, fluid quality to it, and very quickly the abrasive elements come in. But I'm someone who loves abrasive music, so to begin with, I was like, oh, this is very interesting, intriguing. And then all the sort of really harsh screaming elements come in. I'm like, oh, okay, that's where we're going. I like this too. But I like that sort of not knowing where the music is going to take me. One of the reference points for me, and I have listened to some of your other music as well, and I can hear how you've changed and evolved a lot in your sound. But on the latest record, I found myself thinking of Coil quite a lot, who are
Wow.
one of my favorite bands. And obviously Coil were very into ritual and magical practice. And as you
Yes.
were talking about the Italian side and magical side, I started thinking about Pasolini because I know
Ah,
that they were quite fascinated with Pasolini. So I wonder whether all of that is sort of somehow in your DNA as well.
I don't know if in the DNA, but thinking like it's true, like Pasolini, we grew up, like all of us, from when we are a child with Pasolini movie or like a Pasolini history. Now that you point this name, something that you know, something that you discover when you are older because you know Pasolini. Something that for us probably was in the TV when we have six, we see something from Pasolini TV. So very public television. And like Pasolini, other of these important name for movie director or like other particularly name. But I'm very into this magic stuff. Also, Bruno was saying my mother would not, but like I grew up that all the time they told you, oh, take this herb, for example, herbal tea, or do something because it's better in natural way, or like, I don't know the word, come si dice le superstizioni?
Superstitions?
Superstition, sorry, I didn't remember. Sometimes it's similar. We grew up with this, if it's not our parents, maybe it was the grandparents, or the parents of some friend or the grandparents from some friend. So it's something that is in the air. That's we can say somehow. And we're still in the North Italy. We are from North Italy. This maybe is a little less, unfortunately, I can say. In the South, it's more and more, lucky them. But personally, I'm someone that still research about it. I read a lot of book about it. I have a personal project that is very into that. And I'm searching a lot about it, go to the island or go to see, but also the monuments that we surround our city are somehow with, like where the church are on the top of something that was before pagan and magic. So that's the point also, like most of the church are really on the top of something before Christianity.
And do you feel like in terms of like the way that you make your music or in the performances that you have when you play live, is there a sort of a ritualistic or a magical element that comes into that creative process for you?
Well,
yeah, I can say
definitely, yes. Yeah. So we have to. Okay, there's OvO, and I think there's definitely a ritualistic and magic thing happening. I think that goes even beyond our consciousness. I mean, when people see us performing, they can see two persons that really we really transform when we start performing, and even people who know us well don't really recognize us. In the past, some friends were scared of us. And now, more than scare people, we changed. But there is something. Everybody is telling us that there is something unexplainable going on stage when, and it's not only the fact that we play together. We've been playing together for 25 years, and then there is Stefania, who is a sort of. Is really like what connects OvO to nature and to like a sort of ancient culture, ancestral culture, and you can see that in her solo project too. That's called Alos, and it's very, very ritualistic, very much. I would say more than OvO. I mean, the focus for Alos is the ritual. For OvO, it just comes up somehow. I mean,
come naturally. Somehow.
Yeah, we're interested in. I mean, I'm personally interested in it. She's maybe more interested in it and more, but it's more natural for her. I mean, it really comes up. Stuff comes up when she performs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is also like using my meta language, like a weird language. There is not really, maybe you think I sing in Italian, but there are few. And the new album also some word in Italian, and one song is in Italian, we can say, but mostly it's like my, I don't know, deep magic language, maybe now I can say, I don't know. But so that in somehow, I don't know, like I would try to explain, but like it's like if you go in some other level, like non fly, I don't know, we travel, we can say, in some other level. So maybe because there is no means to don't turn on the mind of the people. That's why sometimes people can be scary, or also like this, like pissed in the past what happened to us, because the brain was like, oh, what I'm listening, what is it? But if they turn off the brain and open other part, go more deeper, so go in the heart and go in another point of the body, of the, I don't know what, and shaking somehow in a different way. That's maybe why you feel the magic, or feel this ritualistic our music, or like that. Yeah, somehow that the people feel shaking, like they feel. Yeah, I don't know, maybe shaking, or like there's like something that be turned on. That's maybe also why you can, they can feel it, that this ritual, because they still say about OvO, also that people know that I'm more ritual. They still people come and say, oh, you're, I would say, friend or fan of both the project. They still thinking OvO, that for us is like their song, there is an end, the beginning, end, very square, we can say. But there's still this ritual feeling. They maybe come out also because when I'm singing, and both we are playing, me with the voices, is some element in the music, they go in another, is more emotional.
Yeah.
It touch this kind of the emotion, and make people like do like this this turn off the mind and like follow the situation and feeling there's something magic and ritualic in any way. I think it's that this and I'm singing usually really from the bottom of my heart, and from go very deep in myself. So maybe also that I open something that the other feeling, and that's why I have the feeling of ritual.
Well, from that point of view, I was wondering, like, for you then, thinking about this sort of the different voices, or the deeper connection that you're feeling in the music, how much then of what is coming out would you say is conscious, and how much are you like connecting with something unconscious?
I think the answer is very easy. It's really unconscious, and maybe after, like so when we're recording music, particularly the drum and also the guitar, often they are like Bruno like prepare in advance, and the guitar maybe I'm thinking already, and then we start to play together, and we decide the way that we want to give to this song. But voice usually is come as like last, and usually is come really improvise. So this kind of improvised style become also unconscious, and after become conscious. So after I do it, I'm like, oh, that's I like it. So I start to repeat, or maybe I decide to put Italian word, because like in Iridio, I decide really I want to give a meanings in that song. But usually it's really very unconscious. That's maybe why. Sorry, I answer very fast, because for me it's very clear in this one. It's very like, oh, it's unconscious, like spontaneous.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting.
Well, also, it's true that my part is very much pre-produced and and prepared in advance, and it's very square. And it's true that especially her voice comes last in studio, and it's really what brings OvO out of any stuff you can actually file, or it brings us to the dark side, or to the not to the dark side, maybe not anymore, but to this like no place, no clear file. But I think that my tribal drumming. People say that it's tribal. I think it was it used to be more tribal in the past. Now it's true, like not having a kick drum and doing everything with my hands gives a tribal feeling to the people, and I think that also helps to have this sort of ritualistic tribal kind of feeling. Even if it's written, what I do is written and square.
Yeah. Given, like, I would say, you know, with the latest record, you obviously have a lot of sort of electronic elements to the music, but evidently a big part of the music is organic as well. So, like, how do you sort of find that balance between the sort of programmed electronic synthetic side and the organic human side in the music?
I start producing the new material way in advance, and I start from the electronic parts. Then I write some like drums pattern, and I show it to Stefania, and she's mostly she says, I like this, I don't like that, and lately she liked almost everything I did. I have to say, I'm getting better. No, but we both work more and more in like theater and dance performances, and this helped me a lot in developing my electronic music skills. I actually opened my first software during COVID.
Okay.
So before that, I had to go to a studio even for a sample. So during COVID, I found myself at home, and I said, okay, let's start learning this. I mean, I'm an experienced musician, so I can learn it fast, and I did. I start from page 1 of the manual, and
so what did you start when you
fast.
What did you start using?
Ableton Live.
Ah, okay.
And I bought a lot of drum machines and synths, and I started, like putting my head in that, and it worked. And now I write a lot of music for theater and dance, and she does the same, even from she doesn't use softwares, but so I started being good with softwares, and plus we're both into the DJing culture as well. We both DJ, and that also helps to develop a sort of taste. So yeah, the electronic music parts come from me, but they're very much organic with what Stefania does as well. And we try to mix a little bit. And in fact, Stefania can explain you, we decided we decided that even the guitar had to sound like an electronic instrument, so that sometimes it's not so clear who does what. Some sound that you can see as electronic may be a guitar actually, and vice versa. But she can explain better about the guitar.
Yeah, I think I was reflecting during Bruno's speech. I think the organic part is like, because also how you compose is like compose as a drummer. Maybe that is someone that is really more someone that come from the electronics, so they think maybe we say computer style, but like in a different way. So coming from a drummer give also in electronic in another touch, also because a lot of the electronic, already you will need to play live. So putting a pattern is together with the drum. That's, I think, so also make everything organic, because it's together. It's not electronic and then drum and then the voice, then the guitar. It's something that we is already imaging as a one.
Yep.
If it's something we imagine is still one. One identity, then composed for a different point, but it's one identity we want to give. And about that's the point in this new album. Also the guitar, but you use also some synthesizer, modular synthesizer too. So they use transforming electronics for the pattern. But also, like my guitar, the idea was like that also the guitar have heavy sound, still my guitar, but sometimes have these with pedals, this sound is like electronic, like a synthesizer. But instead of have a synthesizer on the stage, they will be really, we never know. But for us, for now, really like something we can say alien inside the aesthetic also of our band. Have pedals, something easy to play because I need only push a pedals in all the pattern that I play already live, but have a different sound. And for me, is a humus in generally for have a more creativity. I need something new for making more creativity and sound electronic. So there is really a gap that also our sound engineer, when we did for live sound engineer, he came to see the pre-production and he see live what he heard in the record. He didn't know and he didn't understand in the beginning that some beat was played for my guitar.
Okay.
Anyway, it was Bruno, but it was a pedal I used. The pedals was doing the hit. You have a good word. Hit was doing the rhythmic. And that's the funny part for us. Funny, that's very simple, but for us it is pretty new. It's make this tilt. They will love make this little tilt in ourselves, in the audience, and who come to see us or listen to us. There is like, oh, welcome from this. Like also, you listen only the record. Maybe you don't know that Bruno have only half drum. Only live you can see it. So it's the nice of you listen this record is so full of element, and then it's only two person that play that with no computer live, and it's really everything play and come from a guitar, a drum, half drum. So that's something that we love to play also on.
Yeah, well, that was part of my thinking. When I'm listening to the album, I'm thinking, oh, it sounds so rich in textures and elements. And then I was watching a video of you playing on stage and like, okay, it's just the two of you. And I thought, how easy is it or difficult is it for you to represent this on stage? Like, do you always have that in mind that you go, okay, we have to be able to perform this, not just actually have it on the record?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's challenging or easier. I don't know. It's both maybe in the same moment, no? Because it's very challenging to can put some limit because it's only two person, but that's why we development the skill to do something only two person. So my guitar is a guitar but can sound a bass because I use a bass amp. Bruno, he look like he have a double pedals, but it's him with the arm to do that one. For me, it's always the more impressive part to watch. I'm like, how he do it. And so that's the interesting part, I think so.
And we don't have a lot of sequences as well because we play in so many different places. Sometimes we play like in small clubs or in squats, and so I don't want to make it too complicated. I don't want to have to use like in-ear monitors and stuff. So that, we just use the monitors of the venue, so it cannot. I cannot have like a click or complicated sequences in my ears. I have to be able to actually play everything.
Also because maybe I'm changing something because I'm feeling something, so I do something maybe a little longer or shorter.
Yeah, it's tricky.
So or maybe we are pretty but we still are human, so we don't like be like a robot. So maybe the room sound different, so we need to adapt. Exactly.
Yeah, I think about that when it comes to performing and using technology on the stage. Is that the more that you've got, like, if some fuse bursts or something, like a cable doesn't work, and then suddenly you can't use something that you've got, you have to think, what can I do instead? And if the whole performance depends on one piece of technology, then it's like the whole thing's destroyed.
That's the worst, actually, because drums, if you have a problems with a drum, if you break a stick or if you break a drum head, you can still do something. Or if you break a string, or if the amp is not working well, you can still do something. Or anyway, at least people will understand what's going on. But when it's about machines, music stops.
Exactly.
There's not much you can do. And then you have to start that embarrassing process of like restarting and stuff like that. Oh, that's
Do you so from all of the experience that you've got playing live together, do you remember your first ever show together?
Yes. I'm very, totally.
Of course.
It's also in a few days is our 25th anniversary of that famous first show in Vigevano. It was my hometown. Then back in the time, we ran in a squat there. And there was our first show. And I remember also the second because it was more epic maybe than the first. And but that in the time, we were a duo, like we were the art of the project, but we have friends that join us on the stage. So it was totally improvised. He was play sometimes guitar. We have a drummer or friend different they play guitar. So we were both in the guitar. I don't know in the first show that he was play guitar.
No, I would say drums in the first one.
And so it was changing also instrument. So we very love to every night have something different. For don't repeat ourselves. That was the point in the beginning. Travel and don't repeat ourselves one day to the other. So it was very extreme.
Yeah.
And then we changed when we decided to be only us. But we still remember it was really very noisy, we can say.
The very first one was in the squat we were running in Vigevano in Italy. Actually, the only time we played in your hometown.
See, I think so.
And we played as a trio with was me on drums, her on guitar, and saxophone player. And that was pretty good. The first one was pretty good. The second one was in Geneva, in Switzerland. We were supporting our friends Koch ESP and Zoo. And Zoo were late for some reason. I think that Massimo forgot his passport in somewhere. And so the organizer asked us to play as long as we could because they were waiting for Massimo. Of Zoo, and because it was totally improvised, we actually played for 9 minutes. we had no idea. I mean, something didn't work. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, we played for 9 minutes, but luckily Massimo arrived exactly in the moment when we stopped. So we were going down from the stage and we saw Massimo of Zoo arriving. So actually Zoo could play right after us. But it was very strange. We were super unexperienced and
they were very young.
Yeah. And so we played for 9 minutes.
That was the feeling.
On that day when the organizer asked us to play as long as possible.
I mean, I guess, time is relative. In terms of like a hardcore song, 9 minutes is quite long.
Exactly.
Oh, well, yeah. We were still, it was a art performance.
Yeah. And I'm quite fascinated with the topic of squats. So I'm thinking in terms of your like living arrangements and then in terms of playing, like it sounds like when you started, I guess not just with the kind of music that you were playing being improvised, you were probably quite improvised in terms of like where you're going to play. Like you didn't really have a plan. You go, okay, let's like book a 20-date tour. So what was that lifestyle kind of like at the beginning in terms of like where you were living and where you'd play, and how does that compare to now?
Okay, it was a completely different time. 25 years ago, our shows were organized by letter, by snail mail, and the communication was actually faster than nowadays. I mean, you sent one letter. If you got a reply, the show was happening. Not many information. I mean, the organizer was used to send you all the information, including the way to arrive to the venue, because there was no GPS yet. So it was a completely different time. No, when email came out, I was very happy but it wasn't. I mean, it was just a different way of doing things. I mean, it worked. It's hard to even believe it now, but it worked. You sent letters, you got replies, you sent maybe another letter, and the show was booked. And sometimes you had to make a phone call, but it was very expensive back then. To call out of your country was super expensive. But we organized tours overseas. We organized like two and a half months tours. You know, it was like, I don't know, it happened somehow. And it's true that we sometimes we showed up in a squad and the show was not up, or in a club, not necessarily in a squad. It happened in bars as well. I mean,
never happened, I think, so in a squad.
Yeah.
It's more easy in a club.
No, it happened in squads too. But whatever. I mean, sometimes it happened. I mean, but most of the times everything kind of worked. Of course, during the years we tried to get better and better, and to get better conditions, and but under like a basic financial point of view, OvO always worked. Even from the very beginning, we had never had any welfare help from Italy. We always just survived playing a lot of shows.
Wow. Okay, so you actually managed to sustain yourself from the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our life.
We were selling records, of course, more than today. I mean, in the early 2000, I can tell it was easier to sell records, but yeah, somehow it worked, and also even squads were much more narrow-minded than nowadays. Even if there were more squads, many more. Unfortunately, today not many squads are left. But squads used to mean punk, hardcore, crust, sometimes reggae and ska, but avant-garde, improvised music, like we used to play. So a lot of times we were the first, and we were only allowed to play there because we were in that scene. I mean, people knew us from that scene.
It was a scene.
We were hosting bands in our squad, all kinds of bands like free jazz, crust, whatever, and so we were welcome as human beings. We were welcome in a lot of squads, but maybe our music was not always welcome in squads. We had some troubles. We had some. We were sometimes even physically attacked. Not just like
people being upset by the music not being what they expected.
Too noisy. In the past, we were. If some people think that now we are noisy, they can imagine how we were in the past.
Yeah, we were performative. We were challenging the people as well. We were like doing a lot of actions, not on stage, in between the audience, but still today, even if we play more clubs, we try to get better conditions, but we still like to play in squads, and we still like to support squads as much as we can, and we play benefits all the time, and so we're still linked to that world somehow.
It's really interesting for me, like the topic of things being noisy has come up a few times now, and I was interviewing Ethan McCarthy from Primitive Man recently, and we were talking about the fact that we both love Today Is the Day, and talking about like the way that band has so much noise in it. And I think, for a lot of people, let's say who like metal, like they might like doom metal or thrash or whatever, I feel like Today Is the Day has got all these elements that for a lot of people that probably like heavy music, they like, what the hell is this? Like, what is this weird screaming? What is the noise? What is the weird like stuff that I don't understand going on? And Ethan was saying that for him, noise is kind of like the last frontier, because it's like so many different things have become accepted. It's like, if you go back to the early 80s and you had, Metallica was probably, I'm a little bit too young to remember, but would have been really shocking for people. Whereas now like pop music can basically have distorted guitars and it means nothing, but somehow noise can still really upset people. And I think there's something valuable about being able to upset people with music.
I like a lot this totally. I think also the attitude that like when we was talking about the squat, that was the point. In our scene, a lot of people that was doing hardcore, they was doing noise too. Harsh noise in particular.
Okay.
Particularly harsh noise was also a way to do, also like put noise in the hardcore. Was really the other way to be punk somehow. It's like, noise you can do with, or harsh noise you can do with whatever. So it was another way. It was a lot of friends have, like us, have 2 projects or more. Than one hardcore punk and one was a noise, harsh noise. Because the attitude in the end, in somehow is similar. It's like make peace the other person, maybe, or like, express your disappointing in the world and be confrontative and do performance somehow. And so, particularly in the past, but also now I feel thinking that harsh noise is like the new punk. What was punk in the 70s can be or now the trap also, but for other stuff. But noise, I think, is the harsh noise is that one. And you can see also in other country, there's like make a scene somehow, because it's a small scene. Like I was hardcore, no? It's like something small with attitude. And so you make a connection between people from different countries. Each other, help each other, because you know that you are not so many in the world.
On that topic of community, I'm wondering, how do you both feel about this modern online world that we have now? Because obviously there are ways in which people can get access to music from all around the world they might not have had in the past. But, you know, like going back to the topic of selling records, a lot of people now, they'll just listen to music streaming and they won't necessarily buy music in the way they did in the past. So, like, how do you feel about that kind of trade-off?
Well,
it's complicated.
It's basically like you said. I mean, it's a hard balance between good and bad parts. I'm not concerned about physical music sales or record sales and stuff like that, because, you know, like music on physical support is something pretty recent. It's something that had, you know, it's about 1 century. You know, music was there before and will be there after. So I'm not. Of course, it was an income, but you know, it's not just about money. So. But the point is that, as you say, now we have access to a lot, not to everything, but to a lot. But there's a price to pay for that. And it's hard to tell if it's worth. I mean, the topic is, I mean, it's really long, and I'm afraid we don't have like a clear answer yet. Do you have one?
What?
No. I'm just trying to gather as much information and opinions as possible.
I think it's also because we are in a moment that it's a long time we are in this process of changing. We are really in a moment of history, this in a bridge. That in the music, that is in the political scene, we are in this moment. You know, when you are watching something, it is happening. So that's why it's complicated. Make a lot of talk about it and a lot of talking also about it, but it's without solution, because we are in the process. So we can make a lot of questions, give also a lot of answer, but I think no one have a real answer, because we are in the process, and it's a moment. It's hard to watch from outside the point of view. It's really, we are inside in this vortex, vortex, and the point is accept. I think so. This changing, found a good point of view of that. Okay, and what is bad, try to change maybe that, and in a better way. But the past is the past, and we can change the past, and we are on in the future. I'm happy because in somehow me too, I'm listening a lot of music, sometime online. I still buy a lot of record, also because when I do the DJ set, I still do it with vinyl, so I really need it. But they do with the online, I can listen music. They maybe usually I don't, because I love buy something I love to listen live, so I love heavy music or like this. But in the last period, I listen also more pop music or more other stuff that I will never buy it, for be spontaneous and clear. But why not to listen online? So it's true that me too, I'm like more open mind in the music. And I think also what we can see in the new generation is for them is normally, that's why also our music, I hope so, will be more, maybe ring the bell more to the new generation than our generation, because they grew up with electronic, heavy noise, soul, whatever together, because they can do a click and they can listen that sometime maybe for one day they can, you are there, do nothing, smoke something with the friend and you can listen all the discography of the band in one day if you want, because you are there. You don't need to wait for a tape, a friend will make you a tape or, tape time. So that's the interesting part of that. So I'm very always utopistic person and positive. I hope so that this give a more open mind view of the person, because they can. It's true that now they are all people more in the box, but I hope so that then they destroy this box and they, with all this information, they can make music that is more surprising, because they grow up with music from all over the world if they want. So it will be like, who knows? Now they are very conservative time, but I hope so it's like something they slowly go away.
I hope so too. Yeah.
I noticed that the new generations are not shocked by noise at all. Seems like there's not much that can shock them, because they somehow stepped into it at some point. Seems like they're very open about sounds. At the same time, they like stuff that works well on digital devices. So noise, metal, punk, they don't work very well on digital devices. Like it's more like hip hop, R&B. So the device that the people use change the taste of people.
That's a good point.
It's always been like that. So I noticed that while the new generation are not shocked by noise, on the other side they prefer music that's not very noisy, or anyway music that has a sort of clear electronic beat that's easy to listen to on digital devices. That's just an example. But under a political point of view, I think that for our generation, digital was the digital world, the digital music, digital social networks, whatever, was a little bit of a disaster, because it changed. It killed in a second. It killed a lot of the political fights, and once it was very clear who was good and who was wet and who was bad, you were fighting. It was easier to fight. And now you have so much information, pro and against whatever you believe in, that it's really hard to fight. And at the same time, for a lot of people, fighting just means like putting like a doing something on a social network. I did my part. And you don't. I don't need to walk on the street and demonstrate or to do something practical. So that was very bad for our generation. But I think the new generation will have a more natural approach to the digital world, and hopefully they will. I mean, I already see that how the new generation approached political themes, political topics, and it's very different from the way we used to do, and it's very interesting, I think. So I hope that it will get better.
I also use social. I have many friends of 20 that they're like, oh, I don't use social.
Yeah.
Because at the point they grew up with that one. When they have maybe 15, so now that they have 23, he's like, oh, it's boring.
Facebook was their grandparents' social. Instagram was is their parents' social, so they're not interested. And I hope that those things will end very soon. I hate them.
Yeah,
I mean, the day they won't be necessary for
To become a tool.
for our music, I will like boom, click.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Death
I think
on all my social profiles.
the natural way they become a tool. How you drink the tea. How was before the TV? You have TV. Maybe from the past it was TV was a god, and then we grew up. I don't have TV. I don't care about TV.
Yep.
So for that, it would be the same. Like you have a social you use because it's easy to keep the contact with friends from far away, but it's not like this something that you really need. Yeah, we see.
We'll see.
We will see, indeed. Well, Stefania and Bruno, thank you so much for your time. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you,
and
Tom.
great for your
Thank you.
insights. And I'm going to stick this out on Friday, and I guess you will be in France at that point.
Yeah,
Oui.
but from tomorrow we start to go touring France and first west, and then we go to Denmark, a little bit of east. So
Yeah, very cool. I see
ready
you
for
go.
the snow.
And you're going to be
Ready for
you're going to be in Czech Republic as well. I used to live there. Not in
Oh,
Pilsen, but I
where?
used to live in Prague.
Oh,
okay.
nice. This time we don't go to Prague. It's a pity.
It's a shame, yeah. But our favorite club in Prague just had unfortunately closed. So it was the Underdog, and now we just have to find a new one that
Because
that
Prague
welcomes
is
us.
special.
It's great.
It is a pretty magical city.